Welcome to Gloria Dei Lutheran Church in Charleswood, in the west part of Winnipeg, in Treaty 1 territory. It's a pleasure to be able to talk about our instrument here. This is a Casavant pipe organ, and I want to start by just giving some history of the instrument, the pipe organ. Not this one specifically, but about pipe organs generally. The earliest known use of the term organon was used by Plato and Aristotle in the 4th century BC to denote a tool or instrument in a more general sense. In Plato's Republic and in the works of later Greek writers, organon denotes any kind or all kinds of musical instruments. The first pipe organs were conceived and built in Greece around 200 before the Common Era. It's a fascinating history in terms of it starting with being a demonstration of hydraulic pressure more than a musical instrument, but then turning into something artistic and musical and being used in ceremonies, and eventually finding a place in Benedictine monasteries, and then the introduction of stops, which allow air into the pipe or not by pressing a key, in the late 15th century, and then how different sounds would be created through that medium. As time passed and organs became ever more elaborate and capable of producing more colors than ever before, organ characteristics began to develop for specific geographic regions. Differences arose for about every aspect of the organ imaginable, from the operation of keys and number of keyboards to the types of stops and how they were operated. Northern European organs had a higher volume of sound than Italian organs. Different types of wood locally available influenced the design of wind boxes. The types of organs built likely had at least some effect on the nature of the music composed locally. Another influence during the 19th century was the widely available assortment of printed music. This resulted in a dilution of regional styles. A vast amount of German music, much of it from Leipzig, was spread throughout Europe. The international revival of the music of Johann Sebastian Bach meant that organists in England, France, Spain, and Italy found their instruments to be inadequate. Thus, imported music was responsible for persuading many organists to have their instruments rebuilt. Of course, into our modern era, modes of transportation, techniques for building, and tools and such have influenced pipe organs up to today. I'm pleased to share with you about the pipe organ here at Gloria Dei. What you see from the front is really only a fraction of the whole instrument. Let's have a bit of a tour. I want to acknowledge Thomas Acreman, who did a lot of the writing and research on the history of the pipe organ. Here we are on the upper level of the sanctuary at Gloria Dei. This is the console for our Casavant pipe organ, and the pipes are behind me. Some of them you can see at the front are exposed, many of them are exposed, and then some of them are in the big white box there, which allows the organist to open or close shutters to change the volume of those pipes in the box. And in a moment, I'll take you through there. You'll hear some resonance in this space, in this sanctuary of Gloria Dei. And in many ways, when an organ is installed, it's installed for the space. It's not a portable instrument. And so when it's built, it's voiced for the space in which it exists. And sometimes even the spaces are designed for the organ that is to be installed in them as well. So you'll hear a good resonance in this space, which is great for singing and for the pipe organ. I also want to acknowledge Lottie and Peter, the organists who are going to speak about this instrument, and they're part of the Royal Canadian College of Organists here in Winnipeg, and I'm grateful for their expertise and knowledge that they're sharing in this video, and to Edwin, who's the organ tuner, who takes us through a tour of the pipes, and also talks a little bit more about how this instrument works. Welcome. That's the bellows.
The bellows is right there.
Yeah.
And the motor would be behind it.
I see.
Kind of thing.
And this box in the front here is
This one is a shutter motor.
shutter motor. Okay.
So I'll just you can see the top move, like the
Oh yeah. Okay.
so that works the shutters.
Okay.
That's how the organist
I see. Right. Okay.
can work
For
the
volume.
shutters. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's actually a physical
Yeah.
connection there. Yeah. Okay.
You'll notice that there's louvers here,
Yeah.
so the organist can open and close, therefore muting the sound.
Right. Okay.
So you can, if you want, like really soft. I mean, you can pick your stops. Your stops will decide whether it's loud or soft. But also you got the added feature here where you can close the shutters and then mute it down some more.
Okay.
Or you can open them halfway. Like the organist has total control of that.
Right.
And
Right, because they've got a pedal and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's different. I think these are different style pipes, aren't they? Like the other ones are open at the top, but it looks like these ones are sort of capped, eh?
you've got both.
Okay.
So most of the time your stoppered ones will be a flute.
Okay.
You get the odd principal or string that will be capped at the bottom for height, because of height restrictions. But this pipe, the ones that are stoppered, if it was an open pipe, like we can make an open flute, but it would have to be 8 feet tall. Like it would double the height of the pipe that's in here.
Okay.
So because of its confined space, we tend to cap them and therefore we can reduce the length of them. Because it's an open pipe, that one is 2 feet in length. This one is a capped pipe. It's a 4-foot stop, but it's still only 2 feet because of the capping.
Okay.
So we've reduced the length.
Okay.
And then these guys are your reeds.
Okay.
They basically the same thing as an oboe or a clarinet, have a reed in them.
Yeah.
And we can adjust them. And
So they're open, right? Some of them have kind of a lip on them at the top.
It's roll tuning.
Right. Okay.
A little bit more stable than just the regular slides. You can see these guys have slides on them.
Okay.
That we change the length of the pipe in order to change the tuning.
Right.
So we don't move it a lot. We might just move it a 1/16 of an inch or something like that.
Okay.
To bring it into pitch. And then you've got these guys. They're pedal pipes.
Okay.
These are made out of wood. Can vary from anywhere from mahogany, oak, to poplar.
Okay.
So you've got 3 sections here. You got your, this is the grate. Inside the box is the swell, and then you've got your pedal pipes.
Okay.
So each division has basically its own characteristics and in your playing.
Sure. The sounds and effects.
Yes.
And so.
Yeah.
Now I've heard that they're not welded in there. They just kind of sit in there. Is that right? The pipes.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
It's a big whistle.
Amazing. And all of them would do that, eh? You could
Yeah.
lift them out and make that
I can
sound.
lift them off, and so basically all we're doing is there's a valve under each pipe.
Yep.
So when the organist plays the note, it pops the valve down and lets the air come up and play the pipe.
Right.
So what these are are calibrated whistles.
Okay.
So,
Makes
therefore,
sense.
then they are calibrated to a C sharp, and so on and so forth. And then, like a piano, it has the range of being a 16-foot pitch, an 8-foot pitch, a 4-foot pitch,
Right.
and so on and so forth. So you'll get your bass, tenor, and so on and so forth, soprano. Some of the stops themselves, like the mixture, is a combination. This board here, the mixture, we call it a mixture because there's 4 ranks in it. There's 4 sets, full 4 sets of 61 notes
Okay.
in it, and they all play together. So they all have to be tuned together.
Okay.
And so the organist will, like if they want it really bright and sharp, they'll just throw in a mixture, and then you get the highs.
Okay.
So basically, I will set the temperament or the tuning scale to the principal.
Okay.
I tune by ear,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a very guarded part of my person.
Yeah.
So I will always wear like earmuffs and stuff when I'm anywhere near a lawnmower or
Sure.
that type of instrument. So in those with the rolls, either we take the roll up or down,
Okay.
which will make it sharper or flatter.
Okay.
The capped ones, the same thing, where there's a little, you can see the little dark felt
Yep.
on here. That part slides on the other pipe, and these guys, the tuning slide, this is what we call tuning slide, it will come up or down. And all we're doing is basically changing the length of the pipe,
Right. Right. That makes sense.
and therefore tuning them. The reeds are a different story. We tune with the okay. The tuning. There's your tongue and shallot
Okay.
and your tuning wire. So that we slide the wire up or down on the tongue.
So the distance of the tongue from the top is actually affecting the pitch of the pipe? Is that what I...
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. A lot of these, I can probably get 2 octaves
Oh,
out of it by,
like
moving it
a
up or down.
tin whistle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
same pitch as if you go to the piano and you play your middle C
Okay.
on the piano. Well, the middle C on the piano would sound the same as the middle C right here.
Okay.
So on any division, whether it's the manual divisions or the pedal divisions, so a middle C is just like a middle C on the piano. So any of the 8-foot stops will indicate that. A 4-foot stop would indicate a pitch that's 1 octave higher.
Okay.
So instead of a middle C on middle C, the soprano C
On the same note,
on the same, at the same location.
same location.
So it's an 8-foot, a 4-foot, and then of course an octave higher than that would be a 2-foot. So, and I don't have to go anywhere. I just stay in the same place, and I can have an 8-foot, 4 and 2. Those are what we call the unison stops. So 16 typically found in the pedal, so that's 1 octave lower than an 8-foot. So here's middle C. It doesn't look like it's a middle C, but this is a middle C.
Right.
Same pitches. It's just a little bit higher up.
Right.
Pedalboard. And then a 16-foot D. It's 1 octave lower than, yeah, so that's in this case a 1 1/3, so that doesn't give the octave anymore, it gives something else. So in this case a 5th.
Okay.
Some call it a 17th or
Yeah, which would be an octave.
19th. That's a 5th. It's a 19th. So that's if you go from an 8-foot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 16, 17. Yeah. So here's what I'm trying to explain. Okay, that's a 19th.
Is that a 2 octaves and a 5th?
So it's 2 octaves and a 5th. That's correct.
Right.
And we don't have a 2 and 2/3, but if we did, well, there's actually in a mixture there's a 2 and 2/3. Then it's only 1.5 octaves. So compound stop. So we have more than one rank. So it's a combination of 2 or more ranks. So we have a full mixture, 4 ranks. So if it's a Roman numeral means number of ranks. So that's 4 sets of pipes. So and they sound as one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just one pure pitch.
No.
It's a combination of 4.
Right. It's a chord.
And fourniture, that means to furnish in French.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like the furniture in your living room, but it looks like the same word as furniture
Right.
in your house. But it's just
More like furnishing a room with sound.
That's the French way of saying to furnish the sound. So if you have what you do with it, you can't use it by itself. But if you build a basic, which is fine by itself. But if you really want more, furnishes the sound. So that's what we call it, fourniture. So that's
interesting.
Yeah. So it's a 4-rank mixture that you typically find on the Great Division,
Right.
or on the Grand Orgue. So this is a French nomenclature. So
Coming from Quebec and being.
Quebec and it's so if you really want to, I don't like classifying organs, but if I had to, I would say it's a small French romantic instrument, but it's versatile that you can play.
Find on organs that are not here.
Okay.
I think this is the first organ I've ever played that does not have string stops.
Okay.
So there are usually 2, and sometimes they're called a voix céleste and a solicionnel, and you usually play them together because they're tuned just a teeny bit out of tune with each other. So there's a natural tremulant, and they're meant to imitate, violinists hate this, but they're meant to imitate orchestral strings.
Okay.
And so this organ, they're almost always on the swell, on this instrument, what's called the récit, and there's a flute céleste, but there are no string stops. So that was one of the first things actually that struck me when I came here, and I thought, that's really interesting. So
leans more into the woodwind sounds than.
Yeah, we've got the flutes, we've got the mutations, some of the winds, some of the sort of generic organ sounds that you would expect. They're all here. And the other thing that struck me is that there are no divisional pistons. So the pistons are these things that you can set up so that whatever you need for registration will automatically come on. And there are 8 wonderful general pistons, and there are 8 levels of memory, so you have at least 64 combinations you can call immediately. But most organs also have divisional pistons, which means you could just set up the swell, and then you'd have buttons for those two, or just set up the grate, or just set up the pedal.
Okay.
And this one, you know, I mean,
Doesn't.
I suspect it was a cost-saving measure, and it's not
Right.
the end of the world. My goodness, I mean, before electricity, everything was done by hand.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, what it does have, that again, I have not played a pipe organ that has this. It has a transposer.
Okay.
Which, for
Oh.
those of us who have no gifts for transposition, you've got a singer who says, "Oh, could you just play that 2 keys lower?" And you go, "Flick, flick," and you go, "Yeah, I can."
Oh, okay.
Other than that, you know, it's every organ has lovely qualities. I tend to gravitate to the flutes on most organs anyway, and the flutes are beautiful here.
Sure.
Just beautiful. And so sort of the generic organ stops, like on the swell, the bourdon, or on the Great de Montre, they're very they have a satisfying thickness, kind of a gravity to them, and because I play a tracker, which is a mechanical action organ, where you can hear everything you do. You can hear the keys clicking a little bit as they're pulling out the pellets to let the wind into the pipes, and there's a little bit of that kind of chiff here too, which just personally I really appreciate.
Yeah.